Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So they fucking did it. Indy is looking for first. It's the spear of Christ, the spear that punctured Christ. You forgot about that, right? It's gonna have power. It gets the power of Christ. Compels you.
It has the blood of Christ.
The blood of Christ on it, and the Nazis were gonna use it to, I don't know, stab GIs on the beach of Normandy.
You've seen Constantine. That's you bring Mammon into the world, the son of the devil, and that's that's a better movie. We should have watched that.
So Hitler was like, I want the goddamn spear of Christ, and Mads Mikkelsen's character's like, no, the thing sucks. It's a fake. But you know what is really cool is the Anaka.
Yeah, this weird clock-looking thing.
And Anamalahana is a dial of destiny, apparently. Mathematics! I should have said that in the review. Math! Math, everyone! Math can predict exactly where rifts, time portals, will open up on Earth. And math in ancient Mesopotamia. Or where are they? I don't remember where they were. In ancient the Romans are coming. But this one guy was able to fucking do math to predict where time fissures are at. And and they're like, all right, well, he builds this destiny, and it's fucking amazing, and he who controls it will be a god. And so the Nazi dude is fighting everybody for it. Well, they're on the train. So let's start a little bit of the train. You got the CGI. We got young Harrison Ford. Basically, they're on a mission to get the spear and take it to the museum. They realize it's a fake. The Nazis realize it's a fake. He's like, oh, fuck, I got a train full of Nazis. Punching, action, 80 Nazis, train, fine, great.
No problem.
Unfortunately, then the rest of the movie happens. But while they're doing that, we got the dial. There's a lot of other junk here, and it turns out one of the pieces of junk is one half of making you a god. God! And it's, the dial of destiny. So they fight on the roof like you saw in the trailer, and Mads Mikkelsen gets knocked off.
Have you ever seen Speed? I've seen Speed.
Yeah,
when you're on a train and then all of a sudden there's a sign coming and you lift the bad guy's head up. It takes his head off. Yeah. Mads Mikkelsen takes a wood beam to the fucking face at full speed on a train.
I was just thinking
that. Totally fucking fine.
I was just thinking about
how? How is this motherfucker alive? He must use the dial. I'm like, are we doing some cool he's an immortal thing? Nah, he's just invulnerable.
Yeah.
He died at that moment.
Yeah, I was like, how is this dude still fucking alive? Because I thought he came back too, because they're like, oh, you get the power of the god.
Didn't he give him the dial, so he had one half of the dial, but it was a fake Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and if you want to talk about Mads, the villain of the film, being dead, Indy's dead because at one point the villain throws him up against the tunnel top, the tunnel ceiling, which would have took, and then boom, you're gone.
He's got his leather jacket on.
And in fact, it's funny because Harrison's doing this, and he even has the gall to go, look at him rubbing. You remember that moment? He looks back, oh my god, I'm in this situation.
I'm fine.
I'm a meat crayon now.
Anyways, but it's the action, and that's what we forgive. Yeah. That's fine because it's fun. And then 40 years later, whatever. So then they fast forward right through Crystal Skull, who, by the way, Alex, if you haven't seen it is the UFO flies. There's 9 crystal aliens that form into one physical alien. They were crystals that form into a physical alien being.
The crystals were
and nuclear explosion, and the Indy in the fridge, and he has a son now. He had a secret son with LaBeouf, and she
actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and then ants. That was a cool scene in it, by the way. Ants kill people. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, so we got to that, and it seemed like, hey, is this the new Indy? And people were not into it. They were like, yeah, well, we want Indy. We don't want the kid Indy. And even Shia was like, yeah, I don't want to do any, because it's Indy. He's Indy. I'm not Indy. But they were trying a new direction. And, you know, while he may not have been my favorite character, he's fine. I actually liked Mutt more than I liked this Helena Wombat or the new Short Round. And so in this film, they kill him off. Just an off-screen death. He just mentions all the grief you're going through because you lost a son. And it's like, are you talking about Mutt? Are you talking about the new indie and the guy? And yeah, he died.
They sent him to Vietnam and he died.
Just real quick though.
Yeah, he wanted to piss off his father. Send him to Vietnam.
It's just like, yeah, it's just there's like no connection. It's like they're like, oh, well, we're just gonna throw that in there for continuity.
Yeah,
you know,
for continuity, and just to squeeze a little bit more emotional juice out of the film, because at the end he wanted to tell his son not to go to war because he might die. I don't know why he didn't tell him, hey, you might die
before
if you go to the war. Yeah.
Well, I the very first time they mentioned that I don't know, Mutt. Is dead. It's a throwaway scene. He's standing next to what looks like a homeless dude on the street. They're watching a TV, and it says Dr. Indiana Jones suffering from the loss of a son and a recent divorce. And I was like, holy shit, they killed him off screen, and they didn't mention it for like 20 more minutes. Like,
I didn't even think they were going to address it.
Yeah, it's like, so they address it, and then eventually they do it. It's like, wow, talk about disrespecting the fucking character.
If you can go back in time, what would you do? I'd tell him he might die in the war, or he will die in the war. Anyway, so he died in Vietnam, apparently, and I'm in my headcanon, I'm like, damn, man, that's it. Look, I may not have liked Mutt, but you did the guy dirty. So in my headcanon, maybe there could be a new adventure, and Mutt actually didn't die in Vietnam, and and then there's a TV series, and he can go on.
You think they're going to try
but
to
no,
get
I guess
Helena?
he just got, you know.
Oh yeah, if this movie's successful, that's I guarantee that's
they
what
want to do something stupid like that.
This was a test. They want to like, oh, the Adventures of Helena, a new Short Round.
So wait a minute. Everybody fucking hated the fact that we're getting a new indie and we're doing young new indie. They're like, we don't want the new young indie. We want old indie. And then 15 years later, 10 years later, we have this film, and it's like, what if we do the young new indie now, but a girl? It's a female, and you can't be. Are you sexist? Are you being sexist? Because you can't be sexist. It's his goddaughter, and she's the fucking one that's just like him,
and she's
not
worse.
blood related. She's just like him, though.
Yeah. She's like somehow like they try to somehow make try to make her worse because like she's out for the money. Yeah, and like at least Indy's like that belongs in a museum,
and she's like fuck no. And then that's it. She doesn't really learn a lesson. She is like, I need him, and then when we finally do it, we finally get the two halves. So apparently they have one half, and then they go undersea diving. Okay, and this is where Antonio Banderas shows up. He's an old friend of his, and he's a diver, and he does his job. Okay, in the film for 10 minutes, Antonio does his job.
He's great.
And then he dies. He's great.
Great
He's
10
the best
minutes.
character in the film. Because the motherfucker's whole crew dies to help his friend. Because they go on the boat, they dive, they find. Apparently, they know exactly where this fucking thing is, and nobody's ever dived there.
Well, they said it. Her dad found the original sponge diver who found the thing, and he was the only one to ever talk to this one guy who found the rare artifact.
So stupid. So then they get it, but then right then their boat is attacked. They see it from underwater, and then they come up. It's the fucking Nazi guy, and.
How did the Nazis find him? So let me explain the
geography. Hilarious.
The geography of the Aegean and the Mediterranean. They're in Greece, and so Antonio Banderas dies, and then the bad guys lose their ship, but the bad guys have binoculars.
Yeah,
and then
they're watching them. Yeah.
And they're like, wait a minute, they're sailing west.
They went that way.
The only thing in the entire world that is west of Greece is apparently Sicily. Not Italy, not the rest of Italy.
Like hundreds of thousands of miles away.
It's just like, oh, North Africa where we were before? Nope.
Syracuse.
What about Spain? It's like, no, we're going there. It's like, of all the cities, you're going to
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and we're gonna park the boat exactly where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
A single dock where there's no other boats. And the Nazis saw, hey, that's my boat.
Maybe the Nazis were watching that map with like the red line going. And they're like, oh shit!
Oh, they were reading the script.
Yeah,
they knew exactly where
yeah.
they were going. So they follow him because they're doing the indie thing. So now we're doing the indie thing where we go and we explore, and then there's a tourist a tourist attraction with the fucking under cave, and there's echoes in the cave, and then all they really had to do was look at a moon-shaped light opening in this tourist cave and go there. And no tourist has ever gone there, and no curator of the cave has ever gone there. And so then they go up there, and apparently somebody built a bridge. It's a rickety bridge.
They got infrastructure.
We got to do a little bit of indie stuff. And they go across that. I know why people didn't cross to the other side with all the goodies and the fucking artifacts and the priceless shit. It was because there were bugs. Bugs! There were bugs in between, and nobody called the exterminator. So the curators immediately turned around and said, "Who cares? This could be
You see how big that bug is?
Nope.
So they decide to run past the bugs, and there's several spiders and millipedes and centipedes and all sorts of stuff. None of them bite or anything. It's just, it's a callback. We are going to die. Put your hand in the thing with the bugs. So then when they make it, they get to a chamber that is filled with methane gas, and they're going to die. And Indy figures out that this guy a long time ago, Archimedes really, he loved water displacement because everybody knows Archimedes loved water
that shit.
displacement.
And somehow he wasn't being affected by the gas at all. But Helena was like, fucking.
He's like, I'm 80. I don't need to act anymore. You do.
Yeah, you do the thing. I'll just do the other thing. I'll throw rocks in this small pool. And apparently by throwing rocks in the small pool, it poured a little water into the next decorative area of the pool, which engaged some kind of mechanism that motherfuckers had to have to actually build 500 years ago.
If you built a thing that can sense when an air butthole opens up, and then
go ahead.
then you can figure out how to make a ramp that goes down.
It was the ultimate slip and slide.
1,500 years ago or whatever it was. So then they slide down, and then that gets them to the chamber of the dead guy. When they realize, wait a minute, this tomb that nobody's ever discovered before has a propeller on it. No, that's a propeller. And then when they open it up, they say, what the fuck? This dead guy has a watch. The watches weren't created back then. And I'm like, oh, man, we're doing it. I thought that maybe the Dial of Destiny would, predict the future mathematically, and you could, I don't know what I thought it would do. But I didn't really think it would teleport them back in time.
I wanted them to not have to do anything where it's like the real treasure all along was the family you discovered on the way. I would have rather
my
them
goddaughter.
Exactly.
You hate that.
I
Alex.
hate that.
You hate it when love is the answer.
No. So I discovering that you love your family. I think I like, but when a bad guy is taking over your mind and you have to think about your loved ones and that's how you conquer an ultimate space god, I hate that. Okay. So I would have been fine with if he goes look, I lost my son, I lost my wife, but there is something to live for. If he had been suicidal the whole way,
it's go ahead.
Then he would have been fine. And then the Nazis I finally got the thing, and it turns out it actually doesn't do it.
Work.
It doesn't do anything.
Wanted.
And that would have been significantly better than Indiana Jones going back 2,000 years, actually meeting Archimedes.
He flies through a butthole in the sky. The planes drop out of the sky. I mean, they're in a full stall.
No one tests anything. They find this thing and they go, "Oh, it predicts where the butthole's going to be. We got to go through it." And it's like you have a dirty piece of paper that some other guy who's dead right now wrote, and he wrote, "Oh, you'll go back exactly to 1939." And they're like, "I believe that guy."
Yeah.
What?
We're going
right. So then they dress up in their Nazi cosplays, and they have actual Nazi soldiers, I guess, to blend in. Because Patrick, what was the guy's plan?
His whole plan is he's going to kill Hitler and then I guess fill that power vacuum.
Yeah. Right. But how is he going to?
How are all? They're like, oh, Hitler just died. This guy. This fucking guy.
He killed Hitler.
Yeah.
He'll lead us.
And then also with the whole watch thing, how he gave the watch back at the end, didn't he?
No,
he didn't.
We don't see it. We don't see him do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't fucking see it.
So he has this plan where I guess he'll blend in with the other Nazis, and then he will create a V2 rocket or V1 rocket, and he'll launch it and kill Hitler in 1939. So World War II does not happen. So the Nazi was actually going to stop the Nazis. So the
but
Nazi
be more.
But
Nazi.
he could have been
But-
super Hitler. We don't
but
know.
he- Yeah,
then,
wanted to
but
be
then
more.
somehow all of the Nazis would have worshipped him then, and then he could redo World War II only all of the correct ways. Because he was like, I watched him do all of the wrong ways.
And then he knows that the way that he's going to do it isn't going to be.
Exactly. Now I know, which is, I don't know. I fucking don't know. When the entire world is against your one country and you're running out of fucking soldiers and veterans and veteran troops and you've got green horns and you've got a steel problem. I'm not sure, maybe, but the power vacuum thing. So anyways, as they're about to fly through triumphantly, and it's the first time we see Mads Mikkelsen smile, you know, Indy's like, wait, the continental drift.
What?
But no, continental drift. I did the calculations in my head, apparently. I didn't know Indy
I
was
saw
like
bullets dropping on the
mega smart.
ground, so
Continental drift.
continental
Right,
drift,
the
baby.
bullets dropping on the ground.
That was
Continental
there. It
drift.
is, man.
Did you not know that?
Dude, yeah,
When you
fucking
see bullets.
Everybody knows that shit, man. You learn that
So
shit in
then
elementary.
so he's like, he makes Mads Mikkelsen question himself for half a second. It's too late. The plane flies through the butthole. It's in a full stall. And this is World War II technology. That thing would fell out of the sky. But okay, so apparently they restart the engines just in time. And during this whole thing, short round replacement is told by Wombat, Angry Wombat, to fly a plane. And he's like, I don't really know how to fly a plane. She says, just go fly it. And he's like, that's your fucking job in this movie. Go. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to go. And then when he goes, she goes, fuck. I don't know why. She's like, oh,
She's
shit.
like, I shouldn't have
Done that. Okay, then she does the motorcycle chase in the rain, and she's, whoa, she's so cool. And then she grabs on the fucking wheel, and then it flies, and then he manages to figure out how to lift off in heavy rain and weather.
Worst conditions ever.
And he's following this plane this whole fucking time, and he actually decides to fly through the butthole simultaneously. He also makes it in. He's like, we did it. He's happy, he's smiling. We're in 1939 Sicily, and we're going to go kill Hitler and take over for him. Only we went way back in time.
Continental drift, duh.
Continental drift, man.
Yeah.
Who would've thought?
Apparently, it's the exact day of the Roman invasion of Syracuse. And the exact time it was always meant to happen. So then all the Romans are like, fuck that thing. It's a dragon. And everybody fire at it. And boy, are those Romans damn accurate with their weapons.
Yeah.
I cannot believe they're firing fucking pylons at it
Maths,
at
man.
500 miles an
Trajectory.
hour.
Through
fucking
math, you can
aircraft.
solve anything.
Anything.
Time travel. Anyway, so then we do that. The plane falls apart and crashes. Obviously, Indy, they fight on the fucking plane. All the Nazi soldiers, by the way, are apparently sitting on clown chairs where she hits one button and they all fall out. I didn't know that's how that plane is designed, but apparently... in case if you just wanted to drop all of your crew,
There's no other
you
seats.
press one button, and there's no safety. It just drops all the bombs, I guess. So all the Nazis are dropped into the river, and the blonde dude who was this not CIA but helping the CIA. Remember, the CIA thing went nowhere. He was helping the CIA. For no reason, he just starts firing a pistol at the Roman ships because the director thought it would be cool.
He loses his mind and just becomes a psycho, and he just grabs a machine. He takes a machine gun and bashes out the windshield of the plane and starts firing on these Romans. And it's like, what the fuck are you
And they
doing?
actually cut away to scenes of Roman soldiers
Just
going,
mowed down.
I was like, what are we watching? Indiana Jones. We have Nazis firing an MG-42, killing Roman soldiers who are invading a beach, the beaches of Syracuse.
And not even shooting, but the friendly plane is unscathed.
Oh, yeah,
they're
that's right. The friendly plane.
That dragon is okay.
Yo, they knew that was a good
Nobody
dragon.
fires at that
Yeah,
dragon
yeah.
because the good guys are in there. By the way, there's the plane owner was in the plane. What? Go ahead.
And he's like, I'm a pilot, and I'm gonna sleep in my plane because that's where
we sleep.
That's where pilots sleep.
That's where all pilots sleep.
And he wakes up mid-flight, like pouring down rain, thunder. He doesn't hear his fucking engine start, and he's fucking going through this turbulence. Yeah. Wakes up almost into the butthole, and then he's like, "What are you doing in my plane?"
Yeah.
And I guess it's so he can land it?
Yeah, because I was like, what is the point in this guy? I think it's to add believability to the fact that they land that plane because
that's what
the
we need.
Kid, believability.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed the whole movie if that guy had been sleeping there.
Like they had one script doctor, right? And he came in
Mr. Butterworth did it.
Just
Mr.
for
Butterworth
that day, he came in and said, wait a minute.
Hold up.
Wait a minute. You had the kid in the plane alone? Nobody's going to buy that.
Classic Butterworth script
And then
doctor
they
right
said,
there.
you know what? You're right. That's a great idea. So he made the thing, and he said, job done.
Fucking nailed it. Bonus,
Give
baby.
me my check.
Yeah.
I'm going home. And he actually went home because the rest of the film. Anyways, so this happens. Then they land, or they jump out with a parachute. They land, and this whole time Archimedes is seeing this, and he knows what's going on. He goes over there.
He knows who to follow.
He knows who to follow and shit. And he inspects the wreckage. He just starts looting dead bodies. For watching.
Loot, baby.
Yeah.
That's worth some money, man.
It's fucking awesome. He loots dead bodies. Takes a while. That's right. And then a Roman comes up or something. No, like Indy, and then parachute down, and he goes over there. But then a Roman is coming. He's gonna kill everybody. But his bow and arrow troops saved them, and then Indy gets a moment to talk with one of the historical figures.
They don't say much.
They don't say much, and he gets, how far have you come? I've come 2,000 years. And then Indy decides, he's shot, by the way.
This whole
he got
time.
shot on the
He's
plane.
like, how long has he been shot? Like,
He gets shot in the
He
tomb.
didn't get shot on the plane. He got shot in the cave.
He's like, how's he not bled out by now?
Yeah, so he's dead. But he's still alive because of time powers. And the bullet reversed in time when they went through the butthole. So, but no, he's hurt, and he's like, I'm just going to stay here. I love this. We are living history. And he's watching people get slaughtered, like literal, people are chopping people's heads off and fucking putting swords through their dicks. And
dirty as
like,
fuck.
It's dirty as fuck. And he's like, this is great. Indiana Jones wants to live here. And she's like, no, you can't. There's no medicine here. Nobody had any medicine back then. Everybody just died. And I guess she's right. Maybe doctors from that time are not going to be able to heal a bullet wound. So she manages to try to convince him. And you think there's going to be this big emotional moment where she realizes, I'm a piece of shit. I won't be a piece of shit. But it doesn't really come off that way. She's like, I need you. And right in the kisser. Piece of shit.
So she hit him
Knocks
once,
him
and
out.
he's knocked out for days.
I was just thinking that.
Giant German dude hit him, and he's just like, whatever, bro. I was like,
Yeah.
all 100, maybe 40 pounds of her knocked your ass out for 2 days.
I'm like, I don't know how
forgot
healthy
about
being
that.
unconscious
Yes,
that long
it's like,
is.
That was because he got punched pre-bullet. She punched him post-bullet. Why am I defending this piece
he
of
also
shit?
got punched post-bullet. He got punched on the plane
by
a
the
bunch
big
of
guy? Not
no,
by the big guy, but
big
yeah,
guy,
on the
mustache
plane
guy.
a bunch.
Giant mustache guy hit him on the plane a bunch of
But
times.
at this point, he's lost so much blood. He's knocked out for days. So then they go back in time. They fly through the butthole, and apparently that's the way it works.
We didn't
off
see it,
screen.
yeah.
All the calculations are done correctly this time by the pilot who woke up in the back.
Continental undrift.
Also-
They factored in the continental drift this
Right.
time.
Yeah.
I want to know where the fucking god powers are. Like, they're like, oh, it gives you the power of gods. But they're like, you just...
I mean, I guess what he meant by that was if he can go back in
traverse
time, you
time.
have the power of a god, I suppose.
But he doesn't
But his
understand the
plan
butterfly
was so
effect?
stupid. Like, even motherfucking Indy was, like, making better suggestions than the guy's plan. He's like, are you going to kill Winston Churchill? Are you going to kill Ike, Eisenhower? What are you going to do? And he's like, no, I'm going to build a V-1 rocket better this time and kill Hitler. What?
And everybody
the fuck
will
are
love
you
me
talking
for it.
about? Whatever. So yeah, the film jumped the shark, and we did time. And I hate it when they do time poorly, and time was done poorly here. But I guess it's cool to see the costumes. They got to use somebody's costume. Somebody had a bunch of cool Roman costumes from a different movie.
Yeah, 300.
Yeah, a bunch of dudes using that. So then they go back to the apartment, and they're like, fuck, we need to end this thing. Let's, you know how you're a sad old man and nobody likes you anymore, and you never spoke to your wife again after your son died because it was her fault. You what?
She was
You blamed
inconsolable.
it. So stupid. And then apparently she just comes in with some groceries because God, daughter called her.
And everything was fixed.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
She said, I got a
kiss an
boo-boo
elbow.
on my elbow. And then Mindy kisses the boo-boo. And then
it's
she got, I
all
got a
good.
boo-boo here. And then he kisses the shoulder. And then he kisses her
And then
on
there was
the
like
lips.
a weird
and
elderly
then,
makeout scene.
And then they
Hey,
make
it's a
out.
callback from the other movie.
And everything's happy now. And fuck a mutt. He died
yeah.
a horrible death.
Fucking just mentioned
And Antonio Banderas, best friend of Indy.
man.
Fuck him, he's dead.
And they took his lighter too, the kid.
The
kid
kid
stole his lighter.
stole the fucking thief.
And I'm like, he didn't even give it to
Nope.
Indy after. Like, I was
He
like,
didn't do shit. He's just a thief. And I hate
all
him.
these people are pieces of shit.
He was actually knocked out for much longer than 2 days because the butthole takes them back to Sicily, and then not only do they fly back
they
from
had to go
Sicily,
a red eye.
yeah, and so it's like he's knocked out there. Then they load his ass up on a plane. Well, they can put him, give him a doctor. Then they load his ass up on a plane, and then the short round carries him up the flights of stairs to his apartment. He's been knocked out for a fucking week.
So the
like a
CIA,
fucking vegetable now.
NASA, space, V2 rockets, Nazis, time travel, Syracuse Romans, and the Dial of Destiny, which what he was looking for the whole time. I think that was in the trailer. I didn't hear it in the film, but it was stupid. There is no after credits scene. Instead, as the old people make out, they kind of pan away, but it's his hat hanging up on the fucking clothesline, and then he grabs his hat the last minute. Maybe there's some more adventures. When they're in bed.
Yeah, when the old people are fucking, he definitely wants you wearing his hat.
You gotta have his hat.
Gotta
on.
have
Yeah.
that
Nothing
old
but the
fucking-
hat, baby.
Yeah.
Hat and socks.
So that's how we end the
Socks?
indie.
Do you think he wears sock garters too? Because he's the old man.
Well, he has like the socks hanging on the lines every time, so I feel like socks are an important piece of his wardrobe.
One thing we failed to mention is Indy's friend. Give him hell, Indy. Solemn. He
I love
was
Solemn.
perfect. I mean,
He's great in everything.
just his voice. I just love him. And then they do the whole thing. Let's go get ice cream, and you hear him in the background,
cheerful.
just cheerful. It's like I want to hang out with that guy.
Yeah.
He was
I
Sala
want to
and
live-
Gimli. Like, how do you not want to hang out with that guy all of the time?
Yeah. So he was like the best part. Anyways,
So
that-
isn't there a scene? If I could be crazy, wasn't there a scene in a trailer where we see them running away from a giant boulder or rock or something like that? There
I
wasn't.
didn't see it. No,
They're not in the trailer. No,
I didn't.
no.
because there was nothing like that.
That
in
wasn't
it.
doing a callback on that. They did the underwater snakes.
Yeah.
And they did the bugs.
Bugs.
That's it.
Bugs. Boo.
No reference to Short Round, so they don't make an appearance. The older actor doesn't come back or anything like that. And that's fine. He probably read the script and said, "No, I'm good. I'm good." So, anyways, that's it, guys. That's our opinion on Dial of Destiny. We really gave this one a spanking. So I might have to break this one into 2 videos. And thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you, Patrick, for coming by.
Thanks for
filling in
having
with
me.
OtherJoe will be back on Monday. And, yeah, we're going to go drink some beers and have some fun after this one. Bye, guys.